Super Castlevania IV, still my favorite Castlevania game. We're gonna play it right now. And I remember as the Angry Video Game Nerd, I already did the 4-part Castlevania marathon, so I've already talked about it enough. I already said everything I wanted to say, but let's just give it a playthrough and really sit down and experience it in its entirety. Every 100 years, the forces of good mysteriously start to weaken. His power grows stronger and stronger. Who would you like to hear read this? I'd like to hear Peter Cushing read it.
Christopher Lee's still alive.
Well, that's
and if there's
true.
anything he could do at this point, it would be like to do a voice for something.
Yeah.
You know? I think he'd be perfect, actually. I mean, he is fucking Dracula.
They made a new Dracula game or a Castlevania game, and they got him to do the voice. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Although he typically does not want to have anything to do with Dracula, you know?
Yeah.
He released a metal album recently, which was surprising. And the reason I heard about the Dracula thing, because Richie Faulkner, the new guy in Judas Priest, worked on the metal album with Christopher Lee, and he said that when he went there, Christopher Lee's agents would say don't bring up Dracula, whatever you do, don't talk about Dracula. I know he likes the Bram Stoker novel and everything, but I think he just felt like the character got beaten to death so bad in the movies that it was just they overdid it.
What if you brought up how he was in The Mummy? You think he'd have a problem with that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so.
Because that ain't Dracula. He was the Mummy.
I think it's just because, I think it's just because everybody talks about Dracula so much that he's just sick to death of it, you know? I guess it's kind of like, I guess everybody goes through that a little bit. Like Adam West and William Shatner, they always get brought up the same thing all the time. Yeah. But then at the same time, they kind of, they like it, you know, and they go along. But
everybody always says, you know, what's your favorite episode? And then Shatner's always like, oh. You know.
He's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Stop talking to me about it.
When he does give the answer seriously, he says, city over the river. Which what he means is city on the edge of forever.
Oh, okay.
But that tells you how much he doesn't give a shit that he doesn't even know the name of the fucking episode.
When you get far, and by the way, I can't play the game without doing that. I always have to moonwalk. You know, I'm just going to keep moonwalking. Here, you play the first level. When you see the castle in the background in the beginning, it just makes you feel like you have so far to go. When you get to the castle, it's a big deal. I made it this far, and then the game still keeps going. It's kind of like Mega Man, when you fight all the different guys and all their different stages, and then you fight Dr. Wily, and then it's a whole new part of the game. My whole thing about it is that when they did Symphony of the Night and did all these other Castlevania games, and the whole games are inside the castle, that just took a lot of the excitement out for me. It was oh, you're already in Dracula's castle,
right?
You know?
Oh,
even though those games were even bigger than this, but it was still just, it kind of took out a lot of the suspense leading up to entering his castle. Another thing about this game is that it's very straightforward. The second game, you know, Simon's Quest did a lot of different things with it, and then the third one had all the different characters.
Right.
And
this is kind of bringing it back to the original. These are the ones I like best. I like the first game, and I like this one.
It just brings the simplicity back.
The third one is the same as these, but it's it's harder.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to learn how to use the other characters, and I like that, but I like the simple version more. I don't know.
You get used to just one kind of control, and then when you die in this game, it's because you fucked up. There's just a lot of things in the NES games that are just kind of cheap, where it's the controls are kind of stiff. Jumping at sometimes you don't have as much control over.
One thing that always pisses me off in the NES games is when you try to go downstairs, sometimes you'll just fall to your death.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because you have to do it just right, hitting down and down in a direction. All I'm doing is pushing right, and he gets right on the stairs.
Yeah.
Where in the NES version, if you're not hitting down as well, you'll just drop, and that's awful.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not to say there can be some cheap deaths here, but you know, you're not going to find them as much. Another thing is all the power-ups in the later Castlevania games. They were always about powering yourself up and getting new spells and equipment and stuff, and there's a lot of times where it's like, okay, well, I died here, but if I get some time and get some experience points or whatever, I could build myself up, and you're always making yourself more powerful. But in this one, it's just your skills. It's like your brain cells need to get more powerful. It's just like
to me, doing that kind of shit is more like what you would want to do in like Final Fantasy or something. Like, you know, build up your experience. To me, Castlevania is not. It's not.
It was never about that. It
not
was
that I dislike like the other versions. Like I like Symphony of the Night and all that, but I just prefer this type.
Another thing, like I guess we have to point out, even though I'm sure I already said all this in my nerd video, but the fact you could duck walk in it, like you could crouch and like go do it right now, like that. You see, like you could do stuff like that. There's no limit to what you can do.
I don't really understand. Can you help? Do I just walk across?
You're gonna get hit by the thing if you do. So just whip it. Like you probably best to go on the platform, or if you just go under them, you could probably whip up quick enough if you do it really fast. Like when you get over.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, is that thing gonna flip?
Oh, that you can walk across. Okay. If you jump on it though, then it'll spin. You just walk over it. So I love the themes of all the stages. I love how that's kind of like a haunted horse stable, and now you're going on to, you know, this like river.
There's a like a treasure chamber in this, right?
I love that one. Yeah, it's like all gold. It's like Scrooge McDuck's nightmare.
Exactly.
So yeah, you got the cemetery. I mean, look at that. I mean, you gotta have a cemetery.
Look at these graphics, by the way. These are fucking awesome graphics.
When this came out, this was a big deal. This was like, wow.
There's a lot of Super Nintendo games that I don't think look that great, but this, you know, this is just beautifully designed. Like, look at the attention to detail. Like the way, look at the trees like in the background, and then look at like the clouds going by, like all the way in the background up top. Just like all the layers is like awesome.
Yeah, I was like the first stage with the skull in the background, how like the mountains are in the shape of a skull, and there's bats that come out the eye hole, but it only happens like once. I always felt that this was as good as 3D when I was a kid, because you could see, you know, how far away the background looks. It really felt like the foreground is just popping off the screen.
It still feels that way.
Yeah, or I guess I should clarify that the background is deep inside the screen, not that the foreground's coming off, but which of course it's not 3D, but it felt like it.
I was so disappointed with Castlevania 64. I mean, whatever, we already fucking did a whole nerd video on it, so obviously, you know, that opinion is already out there of ours, but yeah, I'm still so upset about that. Like, that sucks.
Really?
that game. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the games that, like, I bought that with my own money, like, when it came out. And I was like, because I loved like the NES games, and I had played this. I didn't own this actually when I was a kid, this one, but I had played this, and I was like, all right, now this is gonna be really awesome because it's on N64. And then I got it, and I was like, I really tried hard to like it. When you spend that kind of money, like when you're that age, you know, that's a lot of money to you, and I was so upset because that was like all my money, and I did not like the game at all. Yeah.
I rented it, so I guess I was more fortunate.
Yeah, you definitely were.
I used to make this a tradition. I used to play this game every Halloween when I was a kid.
And you have the same tradition for the Halloween movie, don't you? To watch that every year?
Lately, I've been making the original Halloween movie, tradition. But the one thing that's been the tradition longest is watching The Great Pumpkin and Disney's Ichabod. Oh, this part used to fuck me up because if that guy comes down when you're trying to swing on this, and if you try to whip him, you'll hit the thing, you know.
Whip him.
And then, well, look, see, then you'll hit that and
whip
fuck
him
yourself
good.
Up. Whip it good. All right, here we go.
There you go. What are those things?
Oh, just skeletal dragons, I guess.
That live on the side of rock, like.
Yeah, dragon skeletons that live on the side of rocks. I mean, what's with anything, really? It's like, what is... Why are there candles floating in the air that you whip and hearts come out? I guess it's supposed to be the Hydra. And it goes to slow motion because there's too much shit on the screen.
Maxing out the limits of the SNES. Did you ever call it the SNES?
It's more popular in Europe, I think.
Okay.
The SNES. In graphics, this was always kind of a big deal when you can kind of see through. You know, like Super Mario World when they did the ghosts and everything.
Yeah.
It's like seeing through one layer. This stage never goes full speed.
That looks like that ride Houdini's Great Escape in Great Adventure, where the room like tumbles around.
Oh shit!
Oh,
fuck,
man.
that shouldn't have happened. You know what? I don't think I've ever died once in my life on this part.
So basically, if you stand there, the ones behind you don't actually fall. It's only until you're moving off the screen that they fall.
I guess so.
Wait, just stand still for a second. Say they're not falling. It's only when you move they fall.
Oh, the blocks?
The blocks behind. Like when you move up, they fall off the screen.
The
it's kind of like the screen like cuts those things off.
That's true. Yeah. I never thought of that. You're in no hurry, in other words.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
You don't have to rush. It makes you feel like you have to rush, though.
It makes you feel like you have to rush. It's a trick. Or they just fucked up.
No, I think they're trying to make it, like, tense. But without having it be unfair.
All right, here we go. Rockman. Ooh.
Is that this guy's name?
I'm making it up. Rockman.
If that's really his name, that's not very clever.
No.
Rockman.
Sounds like a Mega Man villain. It probably is.
Well, Mega Man was called Rockman.
Oh, there you go. That's where I heard it. I always used to do that. I just want to see that.
So cinematic.
Exactly. I always want to see that pose.
Are those harpies?
Herpes?
Harpies. Like those flying, like, women.
Oh, like they play the harps.
Like the class. Well, it has nothing to do with.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with.
They're just called harpies.
They're called harpies.
It's like, you know, like gargoyles. It's just like the name of like a.
Really? So it's another. I never heard of harpies. Now that guy I'd say is a gargoyle here.
Yeah, that would be more like that right there.
Yeah.
That was like a harpy.
I just never heard. I just don't know what it is.
Like Medusa, isn't it? The Medusa also like a Greek, like legend.
Greek mythology.
I think it's a Greek mythology
like Gorgons
thing.
And everything.
That's what the harpies are. Speaking of Greek mythology, how about Kid Icarus someday?
Oh yeah, we should. This is kind of a terrifying stage here. It's just there's nothing but black and just a flashing red, like just I don't know. It gets under your skin somehow. It just kind of like it makes you feel alert and like, oh god, what's gonna happen?
What's coming, right?
Just anytime there's like a flashing red light, just like cause for alarm.
This game is just so well done with the horror theme.
Yeah, that's what I've always liked about it.
How has there not been a Castlevania movie at this point?
I mean, they were talking about it for a while, and I just guess it got canceled or something. But I feel like it wouldn't be good. I don't know. If someone did it right.
The thing is, I think it needs to have the type of budget like Lord of the Rings has or something like that. It can't just be like a cheapo horror movie, you know? Like one of these like the fucking
like
Insidious type of.
Yeah, that's what I feel. It would be like that, or it would be. Like,
it needs to be like fucking really epic. It needs to be like Star Wars budget.
Like I would think it would be like Van Helsing, and I think it needs to be better than that.
Yeah, it needs to be a lot better than that.
I wouldn't mind if it was just like in the style of a Hammer film. If it just felt like, you know.
I don't think that would go over today, though.
It would. That's the shame of it. But that's what these games were based on. They were inspired by Hammer films and classic horror films, Greek mythology, and like all these elements they took together.
Right. But if they were gonna, like with movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and like Avengers and that type of stuff, you know,
it would have to be like an action kind of. They'd have to have a lot of action, but.
Well, that would be okay with me because like. The video game is like all action, you know?
But it's going to look just like a video game cutscene if they do it today. They're just going to make everything CG.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want it to be all CG.
If they did it right, which they wouldn't, then...
You just know that they wouldn't.
And you know what?
Wouldn't, yeah.
And I know it would never happen, but it would be the perfect... like, even if it was like... Like, I feel like they could get... if they got Christopher Lee as Dracula... It would be the best comeback ever, and I know you're thinking like he's so old now, like how could he do it? Well, like I feel it would be like Castlevania II: Simon's Quest, where he's dead in it, but like they would get it would start off. It would be like the beginning of Symphony of the Night, actually, kind of like where he kills Dracula, like before the credits start. So here's what happens. He goes up the steps with the crescent moon in the background and everything. He goes up there. Dracula turns around and it's fucking Christopher Lee. And then they start fighting, and it's kind of like in Revenge of the Sith, where like for the action scenes, you know, they'll just kind of CG him.
Yeah.
Because you know Christopher Lee wasn't doing all those flips and everything.
Like Yoda wasn't really doing all those flips because he doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. So it could be done. They do that, and then he's dead. They kill him before the credits start, and then it just says Castle fucking Vania on the screen, and then the movie starts. And then
does it actually say fucking?
Yeah, it would say Castle fucking Vania, and then the rest of the movie, he's gathering Dracula's body parts to build him again. So then it's Christopher Lee's voice as like a ghost. So they sort of have like, you know, his face kind of drifted in here and there, and then and Simon Belmont's talking to him like in the pond or something. It's like reflection, and so basically that's my idea how you get Christopher Lee in the movie.
Okay, do you know what my problem with that is? Mm-hmm. What you had said a little bit earlier.
About what?
About Christopher Lee and Dracula.
That he won't do it.
Right.
You're never gonna get him to do it.
What is that down there? It looks like a cow's head.
I don't. Yeah, it does. Like a cartoon cow.
Yeah.
Like, that hasn't
Molly
been
Moo
painted.
cow.
Yeah, Molly Moo statue that hasn't been painted. Oh, I hate these things. They just keep coming up.
Molly Moo statue that hasn't been painted.
All right, let's see how well I do here.
Oh, this is just like in Disney World, the Haunted Mansion with the dancing people. Like these
how much has the Haunted Mansion changed over the years?
Quite a bit, unfortunately. They made a lot of it like CG, you know. I think what they did is, back in the day, they probably had like real like ghost like dummies or something, and that they probably filmed, and that's probably what was in the seat with you, where now it's just all a thing that was made on a computer.
Okay.
So it used to look like a real thing because it was a real thing.
Because I've always thought this was strange, like as a kid, how it's like a library.
Yeah.
And I started recognizing more that like a library is sort of like one of those horror backdrops.
Oh, it absolutely is.
You know what I mean? Like it's like I didn't really understand where it's coming from at first. It's like, oh, why is a library scary? But then I started understanding it's kind of like the library has so much history and it's
absolutely.
so old.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, can you describe it?
It's an old room. There's books. It's dusty. There's cobwebs. It's a perfect setting for like a horror thing. In the hilarious House of Frankenstein, there's the librarian.
Yes.
And I think even in what's the second Dracula Christopher Lee movie, Prince of Darkness? I think he's in a library, and part of that
Renfield,
like
you know, the guy who's kind of.
I think some of that takes place in a library, and a lot of like old classic horror movies have a library. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying as a kid, like this is the first time I saw like a library and a horror thing. And I was like, what's this all about? Like I'm scared of reading books or something.
Ghostbusters?
Oh yeah.
With the flying books.
Haunted library.
Yeah. You know.
How many more good examples can you think of though?
I'm thinking like right off the top of my head of the Mummy, or the spear goes through the mummy, and I guess Peter Cushing throws it.
He's like in his study. There's always that too, where like people always have books in the background.
Right. I think a lot of the Universal horror movies have a lot of houses that have like a lot of books in the background. Like I think of like Sir Cedric Hardwicke, like he's always sitting with like books and shit. You know.
Like if this was 100 years ago, like
these would all be books.
We wouldn't. Yeah, we would just sit here like talking about books.
This would be like an encyclopedia, and we'd be talking about Edgar Allan Poe because it's Halloween time.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get back to that, like for just a break, you know, like fuck all the technology.
Well, I got a lot of books. I got all the Wizard of Oz books.
Yeah.
I got
and which I got the Lord of the Rings books to read, by the way.
I got the Lord of the Rings books.
I'd like to read those someday.
I got
oh god. Oh, and that's the fucking turkey. Hold on. Ah! It was right there.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Robert Louis Stevenson, Dracula, Frankenstein. I got those books. I got lots of books, man. Books. I know you also like boxes.
Boxes.
You like boxes and books. Old books. old horror books.
When they look
preferably.
like that, like with like the hardcover with
Exactly. Those are the type of books that I like to have. The old hardcover,
the
big binding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are Eastern Press that does those books. If you need to know. Eastman Press.
And if it's gonna be a horror scene and you have the books, you need a skull on the mantle. You need a grandfather clock.
Yes.
And you need brandy.
Brandy is a strong fucking drink, okay? It's like one of the strongest drinks.
And
you
like,
have brandy, I'm gonna be drunk.
In all those movies,
they're just like drinking brandy. They're having like these intellectual conversations. If I drank brandy, I'd be like, fucking this fucking game.
And like in those movies, someone is on a horse and carriage and they've been traveling for miles and miles and they get to somebody's house and then they're like, oh, would you like a brandy? It's like, how about like some water or something from all the traveling you've done?
Seriously. Or like the first thing, would you like a brandy? Actually, no, like, where's your bathroom? Like, I've been like in a carriage for like 12 hours. You know, in the book, Dracula, when they actually, and it's not this way in the movie, when Jonathan Harker gets to Dracula's castle in the book, one of the first things Dracula says is, would you like to make a toilet?
Would it have been an immortal line as it is now? Like,
I know.
When it goes from, I am Dracula, to, would you like make toilet? Like, oh god, this is bad. This is really bad. Hold on.
Ooh.
See, like that wasn't good because I need to take him out before I...
Right. Don't be using the axe then.
Actually, no, I'm gonna have to.
Okay.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh god. Come on, book. Come on, book.
Holy shit.
Oh.
Look at this fucking guy.
Oh god.
Oh dude, come on. Hit him fast.
Oh. Woo.
Get the orb. Do your move. Oh, you didn't do your...
Yeah. Oh well. This is cool here. It breaks away.